Imagine standing outside on an ordinary day, breathing the air around you, when suddenly it's gone. The oxygen that keeps you alive vanishes completely. Just 5 seconds without oxygen, at first it doesn't sound like much. But in those 5 seconds, Earth would face one of the most terrifying chain reactions in history. For humans, the effects would be immediate. People everywhere would feel their chests tighten as their lungs fought for air that wasn't there. Most wouldn't die in only 5 seconds, but the shock would be enough to make millions faint. Those with asthma or weak lungs could collapse instantly. Doctors often say the brain starts shutting down after just seconds without oxygen, and you'd feel that reality firsthand. Imagine millions of people around the world dropping to the ground at the very same moment. But humans wouldn't be the only ones in trouble. High above us, thousands of airplanes depend on oxygen to keep flying. Jet engines burn fuel mixed with oxygen to generate thrust, and cabins are pressurized with breathable air. Take oxygen away, and engines would stall instantly. In just 5 seconds, many planes could begin losing altitude, some of them plunging toward Earth. Even if oxygen returned, not every pilot would recover control in time, leading to catastrophic crashes all over the globe. On the ground, an equally shocking thing would happen. Every fire on Earth would go out. Oxygen feeds combustion, and without it, flames cannot survive. Bonfires, candles, stoves, gas-powered engines, and even raging wildfires would vanish in an instant. For a moment, the world would plunge into a strange silence and darkness as fires across the globe extinguish simultaneously. While that might sound like good news for stopping wildfires, the sudden collapse of energy systems could spark chaos in homes, factories, and even hospitals that rely on generators. The oceans would also respond in a way most people wouldn't expect. Water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. Without atmospheric oxygen pressing down, the upper layers of the ocean would destabilize, releasing strange bubbles and turning darker in appearance. Marine life, fish, plankton, and other organisms that rely on dissolved oxygen would be thrown into immediate distress. Even 5 seconds of disruption could kill countless tiny organisms at the base of the food chain, creating long-lasting ripple effects. The damage wouldn't stop there. Our very environment and infrastructure are tied to oxygen. Many building materials like concrete and metal depend on oxygen in their molecular bonds. Without it, some structures would begin to crack and weaken. Even worse, our atmosphere would lose its protective ozone layer made of oxygen molecules that shields us from the sun's deadly ultraviolet rays. For those 5 seconds, Earth would be exposed to far more radiation than normal, enough to cause instant damage to sensitive life forms and technology. Now imagine the human perspective. In cities, millions of people suddenly faint. In the skies, planes fall. In homes, fires go dark. Panic spreads instantly and confusion grips the entire planet. Emergency services would be overwhelmed, not by hours or days of disaster, but by 5 seconds of pure chaos. And then, just as suddenly as it disappeared, oxygen would return. People would wake up gasping, desperate for air. Fires would reignite, some planes might restart, and engines would roar back to life. But not everything would go back to normal. Thousands of plane crashes would leave wreckage across continents. Millions would suffer injuries from collapsing mid-breath or falling while fainted. The ocean's delicate balance would be shaken. Cities would face chaos, and global leaders would scramble to explain what just happened. It's only 5 seconds, but those 5 seconds would change history forever. The event would be remembered as the day humanity came face to face with how fragile life really is. Because sometimes all it takes is one missing breath to remind us that order and chaos are separated by the thinnest line imaginable. So what do you think? If Earth lost oxygen for just 5 seconds, would we survive the shock? Or would those few moments leave scars we'd never recover from?